This week, we're going to be talking about failing and being a failure on episode 138 of The Relaxed Male. This is The Relaxed Male, a show that comes to you each week helping men to remove the nice guy from their life so they can actually live their life on their terms. Join the host, certified coach Brian Goodwin, as he helps men step out of their heads and become free from the thoughts that bind them. Hey man, hello and welcome to Relaxed Male. I am your host, Brian. I'm a certified men's coach, and I help men get the nice guy out of their life. I get that nice guy, that whole line of thinking that you have to people please, and we get them we kick them to the curb, just get rid of them so that men like you can actually listen to what you want to have in your life, listen to what your thoughts are, and help you to become the man who lives their life on purpose. And so we're going to be talking about failing this week. But before we actually do, I want to say thank you to all the new listeners that we've had. I have just I'm blown away by all the new listeners that have come in, and our stats are going up and to the right. And it's all because you guys keep sharing this message out, sharing what failure is about, sharing why the nice guy isn't a nice guy, sharing why your thoughts create your results. All these messages that I try to put out here to help give you guys some hope to realize that divorce is not as horrendous as you want to think it is, and how you can actually keep your life together. All these things are messages that I'm trying to portray and put out so that you guys know that life is nowhere near as bad as your mind wants you to think it is. And one of the proofs that I am going up and to the right, I am growing my audience more and more, is that I've actually started getting stream pays and boosts. Now, if you're not sure, don't know what this is a podcast 2.0 thing. This is something that was created by Adam Curry. You know, if you're Gen Xer like me, that's Adam Curry from MTV days, back when MTV used to actually play music and show videos, and instead of just endless runs of reality television. He has actually progressed he's actually one of the guys who actually created podcasts for us. This very medium you're listening to is thanks to Adam Curry. And that's why he's gone into podcast 2.0. He saw that there was walls being built that were going to the media guys who saw that there was a power in podcasting. And he's going, yeah, we need to make sure this stays as open as possible so everybody can put their voice out there. Well, he has now incorporated the cryptocurrency, Bitcoin, and actually the subparts of Bitcoin, the change from a Bitcoin, which are called Satoshis. He's incorporated that into a means of people being able to pay for listening if you want. It's not a have to pay. It's a value for value type of thing. And I recently was messing around, just decided to kind of see if I'd maybe gotten anybody to do any pays or stream boosts. And sure enough, I actually have. Now, I will point out that several of the folks haven't changed their default name. So it's like user 504567778. Yada, 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 another string of numbers. But there are also people who have actually gone through and changed their name, like Robert Gomez 640. Man, thank you very much for the sats that you sent to me. And, Marost, you've sent out some, we got, Monkadad. I love these names. 96. He sent out, they sent out some Satoshis. Oscar 1990 Diaz sent out some, and Idiom, I'm going to say Idiom. These guys have sent Satoshis, and you can actually do this through several different podcast 2.0 apps. And big one is Fountain. Fountain is a great one. I'll have a link to being able to download Fountain over on the website. And you can do that by going to relaxedmail.com/138. You can also just go into the show notes, and there'll be a link in the show notes if your podcast player actually supports links. But these guys have shared a few stats. I haven't made much off of it. Honestly, I may have made like $2 total. But the fact that I've got a couple thousand Satoshis from guys sharing, saying, dude, I appreciate it. Thank you. And doing stream pays, which is where for every like minute of podcast they listen to, they send over like one Satoshi. And it's really a neat idea. And I enjoy it. I've got to get a little bit of money. So theoretically, my podcast is now making money, and it's really cool. So guys, if you are doing this, if you're sending me sats and boosts and you want to send messages, I'll read the message. I forget exactly which one it was. I'd have to look it up again, but he actually said it was a good podcast. And actually, let me look real quick, see who I can tell you real quick. Okay. Yeah, it was one of the guys who's just known as user 50. So if you want to send a message, go ahead and put your name in that boost message also, because I will read the boost messages out every time I notice that I have one. And actually, I probably won't do it every week, but about once a month or so, every other week. I don't know when, but anyhow, I will tell you thank you. So guys, if you've done this, I appreciate you. You're amazing. And I am just a sign that this podcast is growing, and it does me wonders. Also, got just a couple more weeks until, Operation Tears of the 22's Mission Critical Retreat is going to be kicking in. That's August 4th through the 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th. See, the 4th, 5th, 6th, and 7th. Yeah. Got to count on my fingers. So anyhow, from the 4th to the 7th, I'm going to be there. I'm going to be talking on Friday. We're doing a live version of the podcast on Thursday, and I'm going to have Matt Gillespie and Rich Chelson on with me, and we're just going to be talking, doing a little bit, maybe even do a little bit of live coaching, and just having a great time. So if you can make it out there, go to and meet you over at K River Campgrounds over in Moyers, Oklahoma. I would be tickled pink to be able to see you. Yeah, I'm always tickled pink. I love being able to see you guys, and those of you who are listening to the show, just y'all rock it. So join there. It doesn't cost much if you're not a veteran. If you are a veteran, it is free. The boys over at Operation Tears of the 22 are doing this for you. So don't feel like it's not going to fit you. It will fit you. You will be a part of a wonderful group. So come on over to Moyers, Oklahoma, Key River Campgrounds. That's the Adam Sandoval's campground. If you don't know who he is, he's a YouTuber that likes to ride motorcycles around. So meet us over there, and we will have an incredible time, guys. All right. Now on with the main topic. And the topic is, I want to talk about that I've screwed up, guys. I've screwed up a lot, and I have screwed up over and over again. I have screwed up. I've screwed the pooch. I've had ideas and plans that went sideways, cattywampus, whomper jawed. I have pulled more than my fair share of boners, dropped the ball, goofed up. I've whiffed many a shot, botched stuff up, fumbled, and even loused more stuff up than I care to admit. I've had my share of snafus, and I've even had my fair shares of having stuff be foobarred. Plans just go completely awry. I am far from being the perfect brother. There's times that I even wonder if I was even considered a good brother. I wasn't the perfect son. I have let my family and friends down over and over again. I have found out why lying is so detrimental to a relationship. I have destroyed relationships. I have lost girlfriends and lovers. I have wrecked my marriage on a few occasions. I've broken hearts, and I have failed as a father on many different levels. I have failed as a husband. I have not been there for my wife when she needed me. I've not supported my wife when she needed me. I have walked around the house many times thinking that I was the victim. I have been a people pleaser, and I have let people down many, many times. I have had friendships that have been completely lost, and I have had in my marriage, like I said, I've wrecked it a couple times, and I've even had it come to a hair's breadth of me being a divorced dad. I have failed in many careers. I have been fired many times in my life because I just wasn't doing what I was hired to do. I have had at least 8 different businesses that I have tried to do that just didn't go anywhere. I've quit smoking only to bring it back. I have failed to see many times how extraordinary I could actually make my life. That is until I stopped and I looked in the past and saw the path of destruction that I left behind in my wake. And there for a long time, I blamed everybody else for that destruction. I blamed the problems that I have on my stepmom, my biological mom, my dad, my wife, my bosses, my kids. It was always someone else's fault, man. It was always someone else's fault. Never mine. I would pan my responsibilities off onto other people. And there's times I still find myself doing that. When I started actually looking back into the past and looking at what I had done, I started looking to see what the common denominator in all this was. Why was I failing? Why was I such a failure all the dad blasted time? The common denominator in all those different circumstances was me. I was that common denominator. And more specifically, it was my thoughts about those different circumstances. And that was about 6 years ago. 6 years ago, I started a path of just self-improvement, which is what something men typically in their from their mid 30s to mid 40s really starts to kind of realize. All of a sudden, it's like life is not going anywhere close to where I wanted it to go. And that's the way it was for me. I sat back and would watch on Facebook some of my more, what I would call successful friends having the time of their life, going out on these wonderful trips, going to overseas, seeing countries, while I was stuck in a now 95-year-old house, 90-year-old house. We ain't at 95 yet. Got another 3 years to go. That has leaks more air than it holds in. I can look at all this and see all this as failure. But then 6 years ago, when I started to change, started to go on my journey of figuring out what it is, how can I fix all these problems, I really started coming into the understanding of, first off, dude, you got to own up to your dirt. You got to own your dirt. You've got to own what you have done wrong. And I did. It took a long while. For a long bit, I did not want to. It wasn't my fault. It wasn't my fault. It never has been my fault. Until finally I realized, yeah, it was my fault, man. And then it got to the point where I realized I was defining myself by those failures. Why was I failing a lot? Because I saw myself as a failure. Those were the thoughts that I had. I'm going to fail at this. I'm going to botch this up. Things are going to go wrong. This is going too well. I am going to screw this up in some form, fashion, or another. And I would, because of my thoughts. You see, your thoughts create your results. Those thoughts that you have, I'm going to screw this up. I am not going to make this work. All those thoughts are limiting thoughts. Those are thoughts that are holding you back. They're keeping you playing small because your brain's working so damn hard to make sure that you stay in that spot that you're in. Because right now you ain't died because of what you're doing. So that's safe is what it says. That's what your brain is wanting to tell you is, dude, you're sitting over here in the corner. You're staying out of everybody's way. You get a little bit of nookie from time to time. You get to watch television. Yeah, you have to leave the cave to make some money, but it's you haven't died at your office job yet. So we're doing good. Just stay right here. Don't move a muscle. Don't change a thing. And one of the things that we do so that we don't change is we identify with our mistakes, with our failures. Starting 6 years ago, it's when I started to peel those identities off of me, that I was a horrible dad, that I was a horrible person, that I was not worthy of the little joys that I had in my life. I didn't let my failures stay attached to me. Until now, I have been plagued many times by, hey, I'm screwing this up. I'm screwing that up. I'm screwing all this up. Even, what was that, 2018? No, 2017. I even had the chance to finally make it into management. And I lasted 2 months. Screwed that up. And for a long time, I identified as somebody who is not management. I am not management material. And because I wasn't management material, and I proved to myself that I was not management material, when I did finally make it into management level, I immediately did something to sabotage it so I could get my happy tail out of there and not have to worry about that type of responsibility. You have that ability to change. Yeah, you have screwed up. You may have gone through a divorce. You may even have your kids not want to talk to you anymore. You may have been overbearing and controlling, and you may have been manipulative and lied and done everything else that a horrible man could do in your eyes. But that identity that you have of yourself doesn't have to stay there. You don't have to stay being known as the shitty ex-husband. You can step up and become the good, noble man that you dream of being. That is stuff that is actually very possible. And the first thing you have to do is you have to start creating your future from the future. Leave the past behind. The past, yeah, it's got little lessons, but also it is very distorted in those lessons. That side mirror over on the passenger side, objects are closer than they appear. That damage is nowhere near as close and as destructive as your memory wants it to be. And you can start over right now. You can decide, you can make that choice. You can make that decision. I am tired of being the nice guy. I am tired of pleasing people. I am tired of not living my life on my terms. I don't want to be that way anymore. I want to be able to have the success that I dreamed of. I want to have that house that I want to have. I want to have the wife who looks at me in a loving way and says, God, you're a goober. And you love that. You can do that starting now. Are you going to fall back? Are you going to fail again and fall back into the old ways? Well, yeah, dude, you are. But that's okay. When you first do it, you're going to start noticing all these thoughts as to why that's not going to work. That's your mind. That's your brain working overtime to make sure that it senses, he's fixing to try something different. This is not going to be good. We don't know what's going to happen. This is danger, Will Robinson. And you got that little the robot, and he's flailing his little accordion arms all over the place, wigging out, going, dude, you're going to get us killed because this change feels unsafe. And that's okay. It doesn't have to feel safe. You don't have to be comfortable all the time. As a matter of fact, discomfort is the currency for the life you want to live. And I know the guys who are just starting here, they're going, what? No. So I'm going to have to be uncomfortable for the rest of my life. Yeah. If you want some comfort in your life, you're going to have to be uncomfortable to get it. That discomfort is what makes your good parts in your life that much sweeter. You'll have to ask yourself, is there something wrong with you? And you'll have to get around to believing the answer is no. I'm just a human having an experience. I am a human being who's being. Accept and give yourself grace that you're going to screw it up from time to time. You're going to get it wrong more times than you're going to get it right. And that's great. Because at least you're taking steps. You're trying to do something and you're doing a dang good job of it because you know what? You've got results. You can point to this doesn't work. Begging the wife for sex does not work. She may give it to you, but by God, it's going to be the most unfulfilling sex you ever had. Look into the past. This is one of the few times that you can look at the past and actually see where you went wrong. And when you look at it, honestly, you can tell that was a thought. I was operating under a particular thought, and that thought led to this result. From there, you can actually start making plans on how to not do that anymore. You can start getting it right by looking and examining how you went wrong. I could walk around and say, well, my mom left my house when mom and dad got a divorce. Mom moved to Dallas and left me with dad. Or I could say mom needed to reach her calling and she knew I was better to stay in the small town that I grew up in. Was she right? I don't know. Was she wrong? I don't know. I turned out pretty darn good though. I had a stepmom that I fought tooth and nail all through my childhood. And it wasn't until almost 20 years ago that I finally started to go, you know what? Maybe it wasn't, maybe she was just doing her best. Maybe she was doing what she knew she could do in the time that we were in. She was trying her darndest. Can I grant her some grace? Yeah. Those people who I think wronged me, well, maybe they did wrong me. But then again, maybe they didn't. Your world can shift in a moment. And you can focus in on everything you have failed at doing, or you can accept that you didn't get it right. And it was a failure. Yes, it was a failure. It was a moment that you have to learn, but it's a failure nonetheless. Mark that up as a big old F. Let's get on that horse again and let's try it once more. Maybe this time I'll see how well I can handle that horse by just holding onto the reins this time instead of just with my knees. You can change. You are capable of change. If you want to know how much you're capable of change, I would actually encourage you to come over and set up a consult call with me. There's a link in the show notes, or you can go to relaxedmail.com/contact, or you can go to relaxedmail.com, and at the top, you'll see work with Brian. Click that and you'll see a link to where you can actually set up a consult call. Because man, you're nowhere near as screwed up as you want to think you are. You are nowhere near as anxiety ridden as you tell yourself. Your marriage, yeah, it fell apart, but that's okay because you still have all the pieces. Your girlfriend dumped you. Well, maybe that was for a good thing. Maybe that is the catalyst you need to start making changes in your life. Maybe that woman that you thought was the perfect woman, you messed up. You lied and she left you. Well, yeah, it hurts. It sucks. Those low points in your life are pretty damn low. You can either continue to stay wallowing in that mud puddle, complaining that your pants are muddy and wet, or you can stand up and change, start telling the truth, and tell the truth and not worry about what that person, how that person's going to react, because that person is going to have their own emotional response. They're going to have their own set of thoughts, and they're going to have their own results, while you are living your life on your terms. So guys, thank you again for listening. If there was anything on this particular episode that just resonated with you, it just rang a bell, just like you may even said, yeah, say it, brother. If you did any of those, if you felt this particular episode was speaking to you directly, share it out onto the Facebook, on your Facebook feed, and share it out onto Twitter. Take a screenshot of it, share it onto Instagram. Tag me in it. I'll reach out. I'll talk to you. I love talking to people. It may just be a quick, hey, thanks, man. But after that, you can actually continue a conversation if that's what you want. I may even what was the part that really struck home with you? There's a lot of questions I could ask, and there's a lot of questions you could ask. We could both ask questions, and we could both grow and learn from each other. If you want to become the man who lives his life on his terms, like I said, set up a consult call. You can get to there from the website, relaxedmale.com. You've also got the link in the show notes below, and love to help you out. If you are wanting to be in a group of men that is set on helping you become the great man that you can be, and you want that injection of masculinity, and you want to be able to build up that fourth pillar of relaxed men. And actually, I'm thinking of changing those 4 pillars. I think those 4 pillars are probably going to become the 4 pillars of real men, because I don't know. It's not ringing to me like it used to. And it's probably because of my growth. I'm still growing. I am not perfect. I am still screwing it up day in and day out. I am getting it wrong all the time, but it's okay. I'm figuring out where I'm messing up, and I'm making those changes, and you can too. So guys, thanks again for listening. Y'all take care. Love you lots. Bye.